Canada is building 15 giant projects that will reshape the whole country by 2035. New subways, new rail lines, new warships, and huge battery factories are rising at the same time. Every part of the country is changing faster than most people realize. The Ontario Line is a $27 billion subway that cuts long trips almost in half. The new high-frequency rail will move people between cities faster than ever. A $60 billion Navy fleet is being built from scratch on the East Coast. 3 massive EV battery plants worth $32 billion will turn Canada into an electric car leader. For years, Canada struggled with slow transit, old systems, and not enough homes. These 15 megabuilds fix those problems with new routes, new jobs, and new city growth. Each project pushes Canada toward a stronger future. Some are already under construction, and more begin very soon. Stay until the end, because each project is bigger and more shocking than the one before it. Let's start with number 15. This is the Ontario Line. Toronto has an old and crowded subway that cannot keep up with the growing city. The new Ontario Line is a 15.6-kilometer-long automated subway cutting straight across Toronto. It will make trips almost twice as fast and help 388,000 riders every day. For many years, people stood in packed trains and faced slow, stressful commutes. This line finally brings real relief to the city. By 2031, traveling across Toronto will feel faster, easier, and much smoother. The project costs $19 to $27 billion, the largest transit upgrade Toronto has ever built. It adds 15 new stations and removes 14,000 riders per hour from the crowded Line 1. It is like turning a small road into a wide highway for millions of people. Toronto is finally breaking open after decades of waiting. And the next project shows how Canada is rebuilding even more cities at once. Now we move to number 14. Montreal's REM is the biggest automated transit network in Canada. The new REM de l'Est and REM North expansions add 30-plus kilometers of fresh rail. By 2035, these lines will help more than 200,000 people every single day. For years, Eastern and Northern Montreal did not get fast transit. These new REM lines finally connect those neighborhoods to the whole city. Commuters will get a faster, cleaner, and easier way to travel. The project costs $15 to $18 billion, one of the largest builds in Quebec's history. The new tracks plug directly into the existing REM, creating one smooth automated system. It is like growing new branches on a strong tree, reaching places that were far away. The REM is turning Montreal into a fully connected city. And the next mega project shows how Canada is building even more transit on the West Coast. Now we move to number 13. The Surrey-Langley SkyTrain stretches 16 kilometers into the fast-growing Fraser Valley. It brings 8 new stations and supports more than 100,000 new residents who need better transit. This is the largest suburban transit build Vancouver has seen in 50 years. For so long, people sat trapped in Highway 1 traffic every morning. Now they get a fast, easy, and clean way to travel across the region. Daily trips will feel lighter and quicker, saving hours every week. The project costs $4 billion and arrives in 2 phases. Phase 1 opens in 2028, and the full line to Langley is ready by 2035. It is like adding a strong new bridge where people once struggled through a long river. The old way was slow. The new way is powerful. And Vancouver is already building an even bigger subway that will change life for thousands. Now we move to number 12. The Broadway subway will extend 10 kilometers from Arbutus all the way to UBC. It replaces North America's busiest bus route, where thousands stand in long lines every day. More than 80,000 students and staff will ride this new line once it opens. For years, people squeezed into packed buses that came every few minutes. The new subway gives them fast, clean, and high-capacity travel. No more waiting in the rain. No more crowded buses passing people by. The project costs $7 to $9 billion and is planned for 2033 to 2035. It is like replacing a slow elevator with a wide escalator that never gets full. The old way barely worked. The new way will change the entire west side of Vancouver. And Calgary is now building a huge new LRT line that will transform its whole downtown. Now we move to number 11. The Green Line is an 18-kilometer LRT running through Calgary with tunnels, bridges, and new downtown stations. Phase 1 costs $5.5 to $6 billion and will serve 130,000 riders every day. Calgary is growing fast, and the city needs a strong transit system to keep up. The Green Line will become the main transit spine, helping people move without heavy traffic. The project builds deep tunnels under downtown and will later stretch to the airport and far south suburbs. Full completion is planned for 2034. It is like building the foundation for a huge city upgrade. Once the foundation is strong, the whole city can grow safely. The Green Line is the first step in Calgary's next 50 years. And Toronto is now building a fast car-free transit link straight to Pearson Airport for the first time ever. Now we move to number 10. Toronto has never had a fast or direct transit link to Pearson Airport. The Eglinton Crosstown West project fixes this with a 9.2-kilometer tunnel across the West End. It adds 7 new stations and connects to Geo Transit and Mississauga Transit. For years, travelers sat in slow traffic just to reach the airport. This line gives Toronto its first real airport rapid transit link. The project costs $4.7 billion and opens by 2031. It connects directly into Toronto's growing regional transit network. Pearson Airport will finally have the easy access it should have had long ago. It is like adding a missing bridge that the city needed for decades. The airport was ready. The transit link was not. Now the city is finally fixing that gap. And this is where Canada shifts from transit to clean power with a $7 billion factory that will change everything. Now we move to number 9. The Northvolt Gigafactory is a huge battery plant rising on Quebec's South Shore. It will make 60 gigawatt-hours of EV batteries every year. These batteries will power cars for many North American automakers. This project creates thousands of clean tech jobs for local workers. This is not just a factory. This is the first building block of Canada's clean tech future. Quebec is becoming one of the world's battery capitals. The project costs $7 billion and opens in 2026 to 2027. It will build next-generation lithium-ion batteries for the EV boom. This plant is a key part of Canada's growing battery corridor. It is like building the first major car factory in a brand new auto city. Quebec is setting the stage for an entire clean energy industry. And the next factory is even bigger, a record-breaking $20 billion build that will reshape Ontario's future. Now we move to number 8. Volkswagen is building a $20 billion super plant in St. Thomas, Ontario. It is the largest manufacturing project in Canadian history. This plant will make batteries for every Volkswagen electric car sold in North America. This one project turns St. Thomas into a global EV hub. Ontario has been a strong auto province for many decades. The VW plant protects that history and pulls it into the electric future. It creates thousands of jobs and billions in new business for the region. The factory will build advanced lithium-ion cells for VW's next-generation EVs. It opens in 2027 to 2028 and will run for many years. This giant build reshapes the economy across southwestern Ontario. It is like planting a massive economic tree that will grow for generations. The roots spread fast, and they change everything around them. And another huge plant is rising nearby, ready to lock Windsor in as Canada's auto capital. Now we move to number 7. The Stellantis LG Gigafactory in Windsor is a $5 billion battery plant, now rising in Canada's auto heartland. It will build lithium-ion battery modules for Chrysler and Jeep electric vehicles. This project secures Windsor's role as Canada's auto capital for the next generation. Windsor has lived through many factory closures and job losses. This new plant gives the city fresh hope and long-term stability. Local workers will build the electric batteries that power tomorrow's cars. The factory will open in phases from 2025 to 2030. It supports EV production across all of North America. Windsor is now home to one of the continent's most advanced battery factories. It is like taking an old engine and installing brand new power inside it. Windsor is not fading away. It is evolving into something stronger. And next comes Canada's biggest military build in modern history, a fleet of 15 advanced warships. Now we move to number 6. Canada is building 15 new warships based on the powerful Type 26 design. The full program costs $56 to $60 billion, the largest military project in Canadian history. These ships will rebuild Canada's Navy for the next 40 years and beyond. For decades, Canada sailed with aging ships that struggled to meet modern needs. This new fleet brings speed, strength, and advanced technology back to the nation. Each ship carries world-class sonar, missiles, and radar built for deep ocean missions. The first vessels enter service by 2035, forming a brand new national fleet. Shipyards in Nova Scotia are now busy for decades, supporting thousands of workers. It is like replacing an entire line of old taxis with brand new supercars. The old fleet worked hard, but the new one brings a level of power Canada has never had before. And next comes a revival that brings trains back to an entire island, a project that will reshape Vancouver Island's future. Now we move to number 5. The Vancouver Island rail line has been silent for many years. The new project brings trains back from Victoria to Courtenay. It will rebuild bridges, tracks, tunnels, and stations across the island. For decades, people on the island had no passenger rail at all. The restored line reconnects towns that were cut off from each other. It also gives a huge boost to tourism, jobs, and local business. The full rebuild costs between $1.3 and $2.0 billion. The line is planned to reopen between 2032 and 2035. This project sparks new life across the island's transportation spine. It is like reopening a long-closed highway that everyone needed. Old communities reconnect, and new opportunities spread fast. And next comes a massive port upgrade that will change how Canada handles global trade. Now we move to number 4. The Port of Montreal is building a brand new deep water terminal at Contrecoeur. This huge expansion costs $1.3 billion. It will double Canada's container capacity and support trade until 2050. Global trade is growing faster than Canada's ports can keep up. The Contrecoeur terminal makes sure Montreal stays strong in world shipping. This single project is a major boost for Canada's economic future. The plan includes a 1.15-kilometer wharf, new rail yards, and big logistics hubs. Construction finishes by 2030, turning Montreal into a top North American gateway. It is like adding a second checkout lane in a busy store. The lines move faster. The whole system works better. And next comes a new transit line that will reshape the entire Western GTA. Now we move to number 3. The Hurontario LRT links Port Credit, Mississauga, Brampton, and major Toronto connections. The first phase costs $4.6 billion, and more phases continue until 2035. This line supports the fastest growing region in all of Canada. The Western GTA is adding people faster than roads can handle. Without new transit, traffic would completely freeze. The Hurontario LRT becomes the main transit spine for millions of riders. This is essential for one of North America's fastest growing regions. It is like adding a new artery to a body that is growing fast. The region expands, the transit system keeps up, and now Canada must fix its biggest problem: housing on a national scale. Now we move to number 2. Canada has a 2 million home deficit that keeps growing every year. The National Housing Accelerator funds fast building, new zoning rules, and dense urban growth. The plan costs $15 to $20 billion and targets completion by 2035. For years, housing prices pushed young people out of the market. This program gives cities the chance to finally build enough homes. It transforms Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, and Halifax with brand new districts. This is the biggest housing program in Canadian history. It is like planting a new forest after the old one burned away. The old supply cannot handle the demand. The new program builds the homes the country needs. And when housing meets transit, factories, ports, and rail, a new Canada begins to rise. Finally, number 1. The high-frequency rail line will link Quebec City, Montreal, Ottawa, and Toronto. The first phase costs $10 to $12 billion and runs on dedicated tracks. Trains will move at 200+ kilometers per hour, much faster than anything Canada has today. For years, people had to drive for hours or fly between major cities. This new line makes travel simple, fast, and stress-free. Toronto to Montreal will take under 4 hours. This is Canada's first real fast intercity rail system. It builds a powerful 1,000-kilometer corridor across eastern Canada. It is like adding a superhighway that beats flying. The old way was slow and tiring. The new way changes how millions move every day. And when this line joins the other 14 mega projects, Canada becomes a fully connected nation ready for 2035. These 15 mega projects are more than builds. They are the start of a new Canada rising by 2035. For years, Canada faced slow transit, old trains, and not enough homes. Now, these projects fix all of it at the same time. Infrastructure shapes the future, and Canada is investing big. From subways to warships to fast rail, every project lifts the next. This is one national transformation already underway. By 2035, Canada will have new subways, fast trains, EV factories, warships, and more homes. You just saw the 15 mega projects shaping this new future. If this vision excited you, like and subscribe for more. Now tell me in the comments, which project amazed you the most?